Today's legal advice segment with Gaylord Wallace and Hunt, Stephanie Jenkins joins us to talk about some of the main issues with family law. Stephanie, let's start out talking about child custody. That probably also is the most difficult.
It can be the most difficult. Child custody is really an emotional topic for most of the clients that I deal with, and it's frequently the thing that they want to talk about first. With most people, their children are the most important thing to them, and so the very first words out of their mouth at the consult are, I want to deal with my children, we'll deal with the property and everything else afterwards.
And if both parties are of that mind, does it usually come out on the good side of things if both partners have the children as the primary focus?
If both parents are really prepared to focus on the children, then you're a step ahead of the game. It's not going to be easy separating, but if both people are really looking out for the children, I mean, the parents are the people who know what's best for their children. It's better to let them decide than a judge or a bunch of lawyers decide what's best. And so if the parents can really sit down and try to focus on the children, then you're going to have a much better outcome.
Okay, the next step from that, of course, is child support. And it's not necessarily just always the assumption that the husband or father would have to do that, because many women are the breadwinners now.
Yes.
So has that changed for you in your practice?
In my practice, I can't say that I have seen it be primarily the husband or the wife who pays child support. I deal with, my clients are about 50-50, 50% men, 50% women, and it really depends on the person who makes the majority of the money is the one who's going to be looking to pay child support. And it really depends on the custodial arrangement, how much time each parent has with the child.
Oh, so there's a percentage that all depends upon as well.
The one thing that people need to be aware of is that if you make a certain amount of money, you look at what's called the child support guidelines. If you make more money than that, you're off the guidelines, and so that would be something you would want to talk to a lawyer about.
Okay, what about spousal support?
Spousal support is determined according to each individual case and what the accustomed standard of living was during the marriage. A judge can look at, if it goes to court, whether there was marital misconduct by either party. But it really is a very case-specific situation.
Distribution of property, of course, this seems like, you know, you see movies and sitcoms, all kinds of things that seems to be the center of attention. That's a tough thing, too.
It can be. Lots of times people get very attached to things when they're separating, and the sort of constant that they've had in their life, their marriage is falling apart. They get very attached to the things that surround them.
Now, of course, something else that completely changes things up is if there is domestic violence involved.
Yes. Domestic violence is a whole separate issue in a lot of other cases that you're going to have to deal with, because it can affect one party's reasoning about everything else, about the children, about the money, about the property.
All of it.
So you need to figure out if that's going on and be prepared to address that.
And then, of course, in North Carolina, we're seeing it right now, the alienation of affection or criminal conversation.
I know. The title is just sort of titillating, isn't it?
It is.
North Carolina is one of the few states that still recognizes what's called heart bomb actions, where the aggrieved spouse can sue the third party who they fear has broken up their marriage. And it is in the paper right now because there was a big verdict in Guilford County.
And this is not, there was another one about a decade ago as well. Now, the third party didn't have the money to pay, but still the action was taken and the money was awarded, even though I don't think anything came out of it. And
you are addressing right off the bat something that you really need to be aware of when you're talking to clients about these cases. You know, you may have the facts to prove the case, but you really have to have a cost-benefit analysis about what that verdict's going to get you, other than some personal satisfaction.
And maybe headlines in the paper.
And you may get that, but you may not get any money to go with it.
Right. Okay. Stephanie Jenkins, thank you so much. All of this information is on our website, so if you need to use that as a resource, please go to mycarolinatoday.com.